In March of 1942, as Allied forces were gathering in Australia in preparation for a major assault, U.S. Private Jack Magee and Sergeant Edward J. Endres are killed when their flying boat crashes during a sea landing off Port Darwin. Welcome to an audio version of an original article by Kathi Kresol, operator of Haunted Rockford Paranormal Events, Rockford, Illinois. This audio presentation is entitled Belvidere WWII Casualty Jack Magee and contains the 2016 story of the same name. Jack Magee was born in Rockford, Illinois on August 6, 1916. He was one of 6 children born to Harry and Ethel Magee. They lived on Chicago Avenue in Rockford before relocating to Belvidere, Illinois about 1929. Jack married Lucia Burton in 1937. They had a son that they named Charles after Lucia's father. Jack worked driving a truck for the Harry Perkins Transfer Company. In August of 1941, Jack left his family to join the Coast Guard. Jack was assigned to the 102nd Coastal Artillery Battalion stationed in California. The battalion left San Francisco for Australia aboard the ship Mastonian. The Mastonian was a former luxury liner converted into a troop transport ship. In March of 1942, Jack was assigned to fly on the short Empire flying boat named Corinthian. They flew into Groote Eylandt in Australia on March 20, 1942, to be a part of the first mission for World War II. It was a massive undertaking. Every available airplane was being piloted by American, Dutch, and English pilots. They were gathering at Port Darwin to begin their assault. Jack's plane left for Port Darwin, and around 1 a.m. they began their descent. There were several theories about what happened next. One stated that their flying boat hit debris during the landing and sank 2 nautical miles from Darwin. There were more than a dozen men on board the aircraft, including Captain Tapp. Tapp re-entered the hull of the flying boat after the crash in an attempt to save his men. Despite the efforts of Captain Tapp and others, Jack and another man, Sergeant Edward J. Endres, died in the crash. Their bodies were never recovered. The crash happened in water that at low tide was about 30 feet deep. The tail of the plane actually stuck out above the water. The seaplane was embedded so deeply into the silt and mud that the decision was made to scuttle the plane instead of salvaging it. This was done quickly to clear the waterway for the shipping and other flying boats arriving at Port Darwin. Jack Magee was the first casualty from Belvidere during World War II. Though his body could not be returned to his family, the family did place a marker in the family plot at Cedar Bluff Cemetery. On Memorial Day of 1942, the Thomas G. Lawler Post, veterans of foreign wars joined Jack's family in honoring him and other veterans buried in Cedar Bluff. The other men honored that day were Roger Atkinson, an RAF pilot who died over England, Albert K. Heron, a soldier killed in the Philippines, and Lieutenant Mike Tony Tangora, an Army flyer who was killed in a West Coast airplane crash. Though Jack's body lay in a watery grave thousands of miles from his family, maybe it brought the Magees comfort to know that Jack's name would be listed next to the rest of his family. Jack's wife and son lived for a time in New Milford before moving to Floresville, Texas. Lucia died in 1995 and was buried there in Floresville Cemetery. Jack's son, Charles Owen, died in 1998 and was buried next to his mother. Along with his birth and death dates, Jack's marker lists his military rank and unit information and states, "Lost at sea." The remains of the wrecked seaplane, once known as Corinthian, were reportedly found by a Darwin High School teacher, Sasha Muller, and her students in 2004.